Hello, hello everybody. Who's all watching today? Let's see here. I don't know if anybody's watching yet. Well, let's go and check that out. Find out in about 3 seconds here. Okay. Doesn't look like anybody's watching yet. That's okay. If you do join in, you do watch this intro. Oh, one's watching. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Yes, I have a guitar. I'm not playing it right now. I just bought this today. This is my new guitar. Josh is not with me tonight. Actually, we're doing a little bit of doing some changes around right now with this show. We're going to be taking a couple weeks off here from the show, unfortunately. We have just some scheduling conflicts right now and some other things, especially with me. I have 2 jobs now that I hold, and that's put us on a bit of a time constraint. So we're figuring out some things right now. But Josh is not here tonight. Actually, he's doing something else tonight with his family. So I'm here by myself. So guys, right off the bat, go ahead and comment away. What do you want me to talk about tonight? Before you guys say anything, I'm going to hold this up and go ahead and talk about this for a second. Just because it is here and might as well have something to talk about. This is my new guitar. I have made payments on this at my place of employment for a little while. I finally paid it off today. Sweet piece of material there. This is a It's a Fender. It's a Fender Paramount, all mahogany. It's called the Fender Paramount PM3 all mahogany NE. NE means no electronics. It is a full acoustic guitar. There's no electronics built in. I'm pointing here in case you don't know. Well, acoustic electric guitars, there would be something here where I could change things, like volume and all that. There's not. So this is my new guitar. It is solid mahogany all the way around. Vintage style tuners on the back there. Vintage Oprah style tuners. Vintage style Fender sign. The F is a little different. Well, the entire thing's a little different. It's got a really cool inlay there on the top. Very cool. You can't really see it, but back here behind me, there's the hard case that it came with. That I'm going to be putting stickers on here in just a few, right after the show. Oh, Ankles Bane. Sorry I didn't see your comment up there. How you doing, Ankles Bane? Hope you're having a great day today. Again, I don't know if you heard from earlier. I apologize. Josh is not here tonight to join us. So he's got some family stuff that he's doing. So I'm going to be alone tonight, and just depending on how things go, I might cut it short a little bit. We'll just see who's commenting and what we're talking about. Ankles Bane, you like my guitar? This is I fell in love with this guitar. This guitar the very first time I saw it and played it. There were 2 other models like this, the PM1, the PM2. They come in all mahogany. My store that I work for also has them, but this is the one that I just completely fell in love with. I can't get enough of it. In fact, I was 3 minutes late starting the show because I was playing it and wasn't paying attention to the time. So I'm not going to play. I don't know how the sound quality is picking up, and I just don't want to have to worry about that. Let's see, doing just a bit sore from war, but it's. Thank you. Yes, it is. Sore from war. Are you talking about doing your HEMA and stuff? I assume. I'm not sure. But yes, it is a very, very beautiful guitar. It's very pretty. It stays in tune well, and it has great sound. So, got a new strap for it. Got a strap for it too. It's denim. It's actually blue, like blue jeans. So, I don't know where you can see that color-wise in there. Give me 1 second. Actually, I'm going to turn the light overhead too, so that I might be able to see things better. How's that look? There we go. We're a little brighter now. There we go. Yes, it is denim. It's blue. Yeah. So, hey, let's see what we're talking about today. So, I guess I'll put it right out there. Again, Ankles Bane, especially for you because you're one of our regulars. let's see here. Let me do this real fast. Get myself. Ankles Bane, since we're one of our regulars, I just want to let you know that I can't do these. I just want to let you know, again, if you didn't hear it earlier, we're going to take a couple weeks off the show here. We're going to reorganize a little bit because Josh and I have some scheduling conflicts right now, especially because of me. I have two other jobs that I'm doing, well, multiple other jobs, I should say. I work at Kroger, I work at a local music store, I do photography, and I do music, and I do the YouTube show. So there's multiple reasons, but the main one being scheduling. We're going to take some time off. We work some things, see what's going on next, and we'll let you know in the future what we decide to do next. But for now, that's what it's going to be. But again, I am here tonight. Go ahead, if you guys want, those of you that are watching, if you don't mind going and jumping on and giving me some things to talk about. Unfortunately, I just got off work, so I didn't really get a time to really focus on what I was going to do for tonight. Let's see. Yeah, sorry, Ankles Bane, I'm reading your comment right now. No. Well, thank you. It's not just for the show; it's for our livelihoods too. I mean, we both do a lot. Josh, does his sword stuff, and his outside of the show, he teaches self-defense and he teaches sword fighting, specifically HEMA, and he's just trying to, he's got to do that. Again, I have a lot of stuff to do. We'll see what happens with the show next, and again, we'll let you all know over time, over the course of these coming weeks, what's going on next. We may be paring down on hours. We may be trying to get other people involved that might be able to help push us into doing better on the show. Helping us have some variety, but also giving us a little more leeway with time. We just don't know yet. So we'll just see what's happening next over the next the coming days, coming weeks about where we're going with the show. But for now, again, I'm going to see if I can find something to talk about. It may not be interesting to all of you, but again, I'll show off this guitar. I'll talk about it a little bit because it is new to me and I'm super excited. So, Fender started this. I know I'm going to give a whole infomercial here on Fender's new acoustic guitar line, but it gives us something to talk about until someone gives me a subject. Outside of this is a Fender Paramount PM3. It's the 000 style with a cutaway right here. It is solid mahogany all the way around, including the neck and head. The only thing that's not mahogany is the fretboard is rosewood, and the bridge here is ebony. It has real bone saddle and nut. It's a really cool guitar. It's got the new scalloped X bracing on it, so it sounds really good. It resonates really well. It's just a really, really fantastic guitar. So I'm gonna put it back on because if you guys have any questions about my music, I definitely have a lot I can talk about. I have a whole slew of guitars. You can't really see it that way. I have a bunch of guitars back there. That bass right there belongs to a friend. This one belongs to no, that one's mine. This one over here belongs to a friend. I got an acoustic down there, I got an electric down there, and I got an acoustic bass down there. I have a mandolin that's sitting right there. I have a travel acoustic guitar that's sitting right down here, and I have this on me. And, lo and behold, I'm buying another. I just picked this up today, and I'm buying another acoustic guitar off of a friend tomorrow. So if you guys have any questions about music things, that's my forte. Music. That's a music pun right there. That is my forte, though. I am a musician and I am a photographer. So if you have any questions about that, I definitely have things I can talk about. I can talk all day about guitars. I can talk all day about brass instruments, singing. I do sing both. This is my old Lancaster High School choir shirt. I can talk about singing in choir. I can also talk about singing like rock music and stuff like that. Yes, Anklesbane is a lot of guitars. You'll find that a lot of guitar players, like myself, have a grand obsession with buying more and more guitars. Um, but it's not just that it's an obsession. There are reasons for everything. This is now the best guitar I own, and it's still not, it doesn't even it barely scrapes the surface of the price of really expensive guitars. I got this for not just a great price because I got an employee discount because of where I work, but also it's a good price. It's a really well priced guitar, as guitars go. But it is the most expensive guitar I own, and you know, but there are reasons for everything. You know, I have some of the basses I have back there are fretless, which means they don't have these little metal lines that are underneath the guitars that help me get the note in tune. They don't have those. I do that myself, but it helps with some sound, some tonal things, and bends and all that. Those are two of my basses. I've got two other basses over there that belong to friends that are lending them to me. That are nice. They're lending me for some gigs that I do. Acoustic-wise, there's different style of acoustic guitars. This one, as I said, is a triple O style. It's got a smaller body. Some of them have cutaways, some of them don't. This one has a cutaway here, so it helps me reach higher up the neck, because if it didn't, my hand would stop here, and then I had to sort of go like this over a big chunk of wood that would normally be here. So this is a triple O style. It's a certain size, both here, 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 here. You know, there's different sizes and different sounds that you get out of those. This one in particular has a lot of nice mid-range. It's not super loud up here, super loud down here. It's loud all the way around, and especially in the middle there. My other main acoustic is right behind me. It's a Carlo Robelli CW4110. It's from the 1970s, and it's a dreadnought style. It's very, very loud when you play. It's got this huge bottom bout down here that makes it so that it's really bassy sounding. It's a lot of sound projects out of it. Very mellow sounding, not as crisp as this one is. But there is a use for dreadnought style guitars. That's why I have one. Acoustic bass. I had a gig that I did that I played the acoustic bass and the electric bass for. So I picked up an acoustic bass, and now I have that. It's one of my favorite instruments I own. It's a very rare model too, so I'm super excited that I had the pleasure of owning it, because it's just a really great bass, and it's beautiful. It's a spalted maple bass. Maybe I'll pull that out here if we're still talking about music in a little bit. I might pull that out and show it off. So there are different reasons why you might have different guitars. I have a mandolin that's not even a guitar. It's a little. You've seen us play these. If you watch the actual show, I've been hanging on my wall right next to my computer. So this is my mandolin. It's a cheap Rogue. It's a value mandolin. But it works actually. I've had it for some time. I played it pretty hard. Tuners are kind of dying on it, so I need to get some new tuners so it stays in tune. Or get another mandolin. Again, this one is a really cheap model. If you ever want to get into mandolin, but you're not sure about whether or not you want to, you can maybe try this. The company's called Rogue. And I think these run about $45. Super cheap compared to the fact that as musical instruments go, that's pretty cheap by itself, but also as mandolins go, the cheapest decent mandolin that I can think of, it's, you know, like really good mandolin, I should say, that's good enough to play on stage, because this doesn't stay in tune, the tone isn't really there that well, it isn't that great, I should say, but I'll get right there, Anklesbane. Let me finish what I'm saying here real fast. This is a good starter mandolin, just to dip your feet in the water and see if you like playing mandolin. This is the way to go. It comes in black like mine, and then Josh has one. His is in sunburst. So that's pretty cool. Anklesbane, you're asking what other instruments I play besides the mandolin, besides the guitar. I play bass, I play guitar, I play mandolin. These are actually the latest instruments of my learning. Um, I actually was a trombone player for a very long time, and I actually went to school um, at Bowling Green State University. I did a year of trombone performance as a music major. I was a bass trombone performance major, and really the big school life didn't work out, and some other things didn't work out. That it wasn't actually about playing trombone. I still play trombone. I don't have any things. I'm not really playing it right now, but for much. If I might go grab my trombone. I won't play because it's really loud, but I might show it off. It's pretty cool. If you're interested, let me know if you want me to pull out my trombone. I'll go grab my trombone. It's right over there. I play trombone. I play trumpet. I play tuba. I play the euphonium baritone. I play the French horn. And I play the harmonica. And I also sing. And I play some drums. Actually, behind me right here, you can see that if you know anything about digital drum kits. This is an Alesis DM5 digital drum kit. I'm not that great at drums, to be honest, but I got a really good deal on this. And it's good to play, you know, especially for indoors. I can put on my headphones and just listen to myself play. Nobody else has to hear me playing. But I can also plug it into an amp and play it pretty loud so that I can play with a group. But it also doesn't take up as much space as a real drum kit does. That's awesome, Ankles Bane. Euphonium, actually, when it comes to brass instruments, euphonium happens to be my absolute favorite. I love playing euphonium so much. But the reason why I chose sticking to trombone primarily is that it was the one that gave me a challenge. I was, not to toot my own horn here, sorry, that was lame, but I was advancing quite fast when I was playing euphonium and tuba and French horn and trumpet, the valved brass instruments for a long time. I was advancing really fast. So then when I was like, oh, I want to try trombone. So I actually started on bass trombone, and I went to bass trombone, and I joined the jazz band playing bass trombone right out the bat, and I started advancing that too, but not as fast. It posed a challenge for me more than the others did, the other brass instruments. So I was like, oh, I'm going to try playing bass trombone. I'm going to try playing trombone more, and that's where my whole thing with trombone started. But euphonium is my absolute favorite. I love the sound, the tonal qualities. I love how it sits. I just love it. I love everything about the euphonium. And I got the fortunate ability to play euphonium on several occasions in several different concerts in several different locations. But my absolute favorite was my first time I ever performed on euphonium. I was playing with an orchestra in Columbus, Ohio, the Columbus Metropolitan Chamber Orchestra. And they asked if any of the trombone. I was actually playing bass trombone for them. They had two bass trombone players because one of the symphonies they were playing required 4 trombones instead of 3. So I was called up by a friend of mine to play the 4th trombone part, and they had asked the other trombone players if they played euphonium, and all of them said no because they were doing the Planets. Which is by, why can I not think, who does the Planet Suite? Gustav Holst. Gustav Holst, the Planet Suite. And of course they were doing the song the piece Mars Bringer of War, and I got to do the euphonium solo. So my first time I ever played euphonium in concert was soloing with the Columbus Metropolitan Chamber Orchestra. Hell of a lot of fun to play that piece, and hell of a lot of fun to play with that group. I subbed with them, was an addition for 4 more concerts before they asked me to officially join the group when I was 16. So I was in the group for 3 years, and then I went off to college. And when I came back, I didn't do it anymore because they had replaced me with somebody else, and I was off to other things anyways. So, but that was a lot of fun. I owe a lot to my friend Mike Swinger for that. He was the one that got me into the group, and really helped pioneer that whole relationship for me. And because of that, I know a lot of musicians around in Columbus. I used to, I know, I would begin to say I know at least half the musicians in Lancaster, Ohio. At least half that are involved in the music scene, I should say. I mean, there are plenty of people that play guitar at home and stuff like that, but half the people that are actually on the music scene, I would at least say, if not more. We have a population of 40,000 people, so that's a lot of people. But I've done a lot in local community, but I also have a lot of connections in Columbus, Ohio now because of that, and in Bowling Green, where I went to school. Also, a lot of connections in Athens, Ohio, where Ohio University is, because I have a lot of friends that went down there, and I've met a lot of people doing things down there in Athens. Also at Capital University in Bexley, Ohio. So, but point being, I did make a lot of connections, including the leader of the group, who's a friend of mine now, is his name's Luis Bieva, and he is the principal cellist with the Columbus Symphony Orchestra, but he's also the principal cellist of an orchestra in Colombia, in South America, where he's from. So I think that's pretty cool. Just one of those interesting facts out there. So there's that. Excuse me. So Anglesman, you said you played euphonium in junior high school. That's when we started. That's when they started music here in Ohio as well. At least in my city, some cities started at other times. Now I think they're starting halfway through the elementary, 5th grade. But when I started, the year I started, we were starting in the 6th grade, so I got a later start than some of the other people do. But I've been doing music since I was a little kid. Thank you, Anglesman. It is one of my prouder things that I've done is being able to be involved so much in music around. But as I was saying, I've been doing music since I was a little kid. I used to sing at not high school. I used to sing at church when I was attending First United Methodist. No, I'm sorry, United Brethren Church. I only attended. I'm planning to attend the United Methodist Church soon, but that's a different story. I do. When we went to United Brethren when I was a child, my brother and I sang. They didn't really have a choir opportunities for kids, but we sang before the congregation a couple of times. So like a lot of other musicians that sing at a young age, a lot of times it's involved with the church, and that's where I got my involvement. So yeah, music is well. What's the word I want to look for? It's well ingrained in my life and in everything I do. Obviously, I work at a music store now, which is the ultimate job for someone like me, who did not go the full length in college. So now I'm fighting for gigs on this and on bass, which is actually where I've gotten gigs so far, is on the bass, and I'm looking to get some acoustic gigs with a good friend of mine, Justin. So I'm looking, eventually I'll be hopefully getting more. So let's say, same. I used to do plays in elementary school and did band through junior high, and so outside singing. That's awesome. And yes, ingrained. I think it's with an E at the beginning though. Anglesbane. Yeah, but again, that is awesome. It's I miss doing middle school and high school band, especially high school band. I was in the marching band. I know I'm a band geek, but I did the high school marching band, and that's where some of my greatest memories are from. Some of my best friends come from there. Even to this day, some of my best friends who were in high school marching band with me. Some of my best memories, not just from band camp, from the whole experience, just the people, and connections. A lot of people in high school band didn't, care as much as I did about it because I was wanting to become a professional musician, and I was doing professional musicianship at the time, doing gigs outside. Of school, I was playing with the Columbus Metropolitan Chamber Orchestra. I was playing with a group called the Columbus Youth Symphonic Band. It was a collaboration. I'm going to say it this way. This not going to be the best way to say it. It was a collaboration of some of the better musicians of Central Ohio, high school musicians brought together and playing in a group. Um, and by God, they were good. We were pretty good. It was an amazing experience because when you get, 50, 60, 70 kids, I can't remember how many there were in the group, but that all just want to play music, that's what was so amazing to me, was that I got to be with these kids, and with these other kids, I should say. I was a kid too. I was a high schooler. And getting to play college and professional level music, and just, it was amazing when you put your mind together with like-minded people, especially music-oriented kid, these high schoolers that are all music-oriented, that all want to do music with their lives. It's something special, it's not just high school band, it's not just high school marching band. It's an altogether different experience. And it's, again, one of the reasons why music is so important to me. Not just because I was raised listening to good music, I'll put it that way, because I think I listen to some of the best music, but everyone thinks that, so I have some pretty good arguments for mine too about why my music's some of the best, but that's for another time. Music is a large part of everything I do. Not just because I work in a music store, but also in my decisions of life and everything. I can't walk to work without listening to music or thinking about music. I can't do work without listening to or thinking about music, because and there's so many reasons for that. It's not just because I love playing music and all that. It's also because it helps me focus. It helps me, it helps me get in a mood for what I'm doing. I think the coolest thing I did in band was when we got invited to play the high school marching band. We did that. I did play. That is awesome. They used to do this thing during homecoming weekend. The homecoming football game. They would invite the two. We have one high school and two junior highs that feed into the high school, right? And we had every year during the homecoming football game, they brought they brought up both the junior high 8th grade bands, and they got to march onto the field and everything with them. We were just in straight lines, but that was really fun. Getting to do that, and I was that kid again. I was the penultimate band geek because I was the guy that went to the rehearsals for the marching band while I was in junior high, the high school marching band. I would go to the rehearsals to watch and study and see what I was doing. It's also what got me into playing tuba. I originally started on trumpet. I originally started on trumpet, and then I switched to tuba because, actually not because of that, but we also did a football game every year where the 7th and 8th grade bands got to play together on the marching band field for a junior high school football game. They did that as well. They just did it once a year. It's just a fun thing. And I remember my 7th grade year, the Thomas Ewing Junior High School, where I went to junior high school, we marched out and played. We had one tuba player, and he was in the 8th grade. And then the General Sherman Junior High School band marched out there, and they had 3 tubas. They had 3 tuba players. And I remember one of our teachers looked at me and said, "Wait a minute, why do we only have 1 when they have 3? Next year is going to be better because we're going to move someone up in 7th grade, and then in 8th, and then the people that are in 7th grade next year will have a tuba player for them too." So we did that. I moved up and I started playing tuba. So I played tuba that year. And then I played tuba up into high school when I started experimenting with other instruments. I actually started experimenting, I should say, with French horn and my first trombone, which really I didn't get far with because it really was not a good trombone. It it was very, very old, kind of broken, hard to play, so I kind of gave up on it. Um, and I bought a French horn as well. It was a B-flat French horn, so I was stupid. I didn't know what I was doing at the time. It didn't work for me that well either, so it wasn't until high school when I really got involved in other instruments. I started playing, again, I started playing euphonium more, which I fell in love with. I started playing trumpet again, and I played trombone. That's when I picked up trombone, and very quickly fell in love with it, and that's what became my passion for a long time. And now, now later in life, I realized that I was so involved in those instruments, in brass instruments and wind instruments, that I didn't focus on what I thought was actually infinitely cooler, which was, stuff like this, playing guitars, because to me, this is the ultimate instrument, not just the acoustic, but like guitars in general, because I can get up there and I can dance on stage. I can get more into music doing this. I can sing a sad song and I can be sad. You play a sad song on euphonium or tuba or something like that. Yeah, you look sad, you play that, but you're not really sad. You know what I mean? You can't be. But then when you can't make a facial expression. When I'm playing this, I can sing. I can, if I'm getting really excited and I'm playing, my bass on stage, I can really get into it. You should see me when I practice when I practice my bass stuff. I'll play Enter Sandman from Metallica, and I'll be standing like right here in the middle of the room, and I'll just be going insane, like dancing like I'm playing in front of 20,000 people, when in fact the neighbors probably can hear me jumping up and down. They probably hate me for it. So, but this is what I've fallen in love with now, music-wise. Is playing guitar, is playing bass, playing mandolin, and singing, and just dancing and listening to good music. It's also got me a whole other slew of connections now. I have a lot of different people that I, wouldn't even know if it wasn't for this. And I would love to make a career out of this, but unfortunately, it's not as viable to start like this for me. So I'm just working my way up, Anglesbane, you asked, what are your thoughts on the violin? Give me about 0.4 seconds. Actually, give me about 4 seconds here, and I'll show you. I'm coming. Now this, you asked what are my opinions on the violin. I do not play violin, like, at all. I know how to hold it, and I can tune it, but I don't actually play it. Here is my violin. I do own a violin. This is a full-sized violin. It is not branded, like it doesn't have like a label on the inside or something down in there or anything, because it's not your conventional violin. This was handmade by a gentleman, I can't think of his name, I think it's Eric something, in the year 1917. No, 1914, I'm sorry. This violin is 103 years old. It's pretty good. It's got some stuff. I had some work done on it a few years ago, and a gentleman by the name of Jacques Gray, he's a local guy, he owns a violin, a strings repair and building shop. He makes upright basses. He builds them, but he put this on for me, the little things there. He replaced these. He put on new strings. All that. He did have to fix this right here. You can see it kind of opens and closes. It's not supposed to do that. He didn't glue that, and my stupid face decided not to take care of it after putting a bunch of money into it, and he it's since caught humidity and come unglued again, which if some family members knew that, they would probably come unglued too, because this is a family heirloom. This was bought in the year 1914. My great-grandmother, who did play this for like 30 years, she she gave it to me. She gave it to my brother and I, because my twin brother Sam is also a musician. But I did put money into this to get it fixed and make it playable. And it is playable with that crack there, with that split end, but you don't want that there. You lose a lot of tone and a lot of build, and eventually that can get worse. So I would like to get it fixed more. I'll probably take it back to him, probably in the coming months, maybe even. I do need to get that fixed. But it is very beautiful. It sounds good. I can't play it, and I don't have any rosin right now. I had some, and I lost it. Again, stupid Eli. There's a bridge that they put on this one. I do have receipts for all of this stuff from like the 1950s and stuff. This is a bridge that they bought for it and had fit to it in the 1950s. I do have the receipt for it. I think it was from 1954. That's cool. The strings that were on here hadn't been changed since 1954. I do have the receipt for those strings as well. The strings that are on there now are new. He put them on a few years ago when I got it repaired. I also have, let me get it out here, let me put this down here, a bow here that is also from 1954. I think what they did, they hadn't played it for a while. Put a little misnomer out there. My grandmother was born in my great grandmother was born in 1917. So she only had it for they got it only 3 years before she was born. She started playing. She didn't play it for some time, and then she went and got new stuff for it. You know, she got new strings, new tuning machines. These tuners up here were also replaced because they were also replaced in 1954. And I have the receipts for those. But I think she just needed new stuff for it. So this is a bow from 1954. You can see it didn't get played too much because it's not completely destroyed. You can see there's still quite a bit on there of what was originally been there. But there are a lot of strings hanging off. We cut off a lot of strings too. And then a few years back, Sam tried playing it for a while, so he bought a new bow, and this bow was like super cheap on Amazon. I think it was like $12. By the way, don't buy cheap bows. There's a reason why you need more expensive ones. Like all the hair fly, this is even real horsehair. That's real horsehair on this one. This is this cheap synthetic crap that doesn't even last at all. So it looks like Charlie Daniels fiddle after playing like, you know, one of his songs. Speaking of fiddle, something a lot of people don't know. Maybe I know there's only one person watching right now, but one person, I don't know if it's Englesbane or who it is, but whoever's watching right now, you wanted to know, this is a violin, but it's also a fiddle. Violin and fiddle are the same exact instrument. A lot of people don't know that. It's the way you hold it. This is how you hold a violin, straight out, so you can, you know, this is how you hold a fiddle. You hold it up farther forward so you can see straight down, you can see exactly where everything is, and it records a little better, especially if you're like, you know, record using this. If you're singing like into a microphone that's right here, and you have the fiddle right here to sing, like if you're using the same mic to sing into and play into, you play. You know, that's why you have fiddle there. And there's probably other reasons that I don't know about. I'm not a fiddle or violin player, but yes, there is my 1914 handmade violin built in Peoria, Ohio. By the way, just putting it out there. I cannot remember the gentleman's name that made this. I do have a little piece of paper that gives a little story background that my grandmother wrote about. My great grandmother wrote about it. Yes, Devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for his soul to steal. I'm not going to try to sing it in his voice right now because I've actually lost my voice a little bit. I'm trying to let that heal up so that if I want to, you know, record anything, because I do record some music sometimes. I do have some recording stuff right down here actually. But that is a great song, and that is exactly the song I was picturing. Is, you know, after playing Devil Went Down to Georgia, he's like, so, yeah, he's like this. His bow is just falling apart like this, you know. But his is falling apart because he plays really hard. That's weird. Look at that. his bow's falling apart because he plays really hard, not because it's uber cheap. So, which I understand, cheap bows are cheap bows, but so be it. If I want, I was actually talking about this violin to my manager at my music store, the music store today that I work at, and he's like, yeah, why don't you bring it in sometime? We can look at it and see if, maybe we'll hook you up with a new bow and rosin. And I'm like, yeah, again, I don't have unfortunately, out of all things, as a musician, I've always had a desire to learn more and more and more and more and more instruments. But I just don't. This one's particularly violin, viola, cello, and upright bass, double bass. They are not easy to learn compared to the other instruments I learned. They would probably be some of the hardest for me, and that's largely because they don't have any marker at all on here. Even my fretless basses that I have lines on them. One of them is the Squier that you might have seen the video for. The Squier jazz bass, fretless jazz bass, it has lines on it. And my Ibanez Exotic Woods bass, that's a full spalted maple, unlike the old ones, unlike the new ones that just have a little bit of actual spalted maple on them. Mine is full spalted maple. And those at least have lines on them to give you reference. This doesn't. It would take me some time to really hone in my There's the octave right there on that string. Yeah, so it's an awesome instrument. It's I'm so happy that I have this, and maybe someday I'll actually take the time. Maybe I'll have a kid someday. I'll have kids that might be interested in playing this, in which case I'll make them buy it. We'll buy them a cheaper one first, so they can see if they really want to invest the time and all that. And then, when they're like 35 years old, I'll be like, oh, by the way, I have a violin that you can play. Because it is a family heirloom. It is very fragile, very old. It's a very special piece of equipment. So, yeah, very beautiful. Let's see what time it's getting. It's 6:47. Well, I'm not gonna close up early yet. I was just talking about my my acoustic bass guitar, which is you do plug it in. It's not full acoustic, but make sure this is closed up all the way. I'm gonna put this back over here. Devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for his soul to steal. He was in a bind. He was just way behind. He was willing to make a deal. So this right here is one of my prettiest guitars. This is my acoustic bass. So it looks like an acoustic guitar, but it is much bigger, much longer. There it is. It is an Ibanez. This is an Ibanez AE. I'm sorry, not AE. EWB. AE is the lower line. This is their Exotic Woods series. It is in spalted maple. I don't know how you can see that. It looks like it's super grainy on the other screen, so I don't know why it is. But if you can see that, it is a very beautiful guitar. It is fretless. That's what I was talking about earlier. Saying there's no frets on there at all. Let's see what you say. Here's a question from, well, I feel like I tried your hand at archery. Actually, yes, I did, and I would like to get back into it. There used to be this thing that we'd go to every year called the Mountain Heritage Days at Tar Hollow Mountain Heritage Days, down in Wayne National Forest here in Ohio. And they always had this archery group that came down and let you try bows. And I actually got pretty good at myself. I would like to have a bow. I was actually looking at them a couple weeks ago. I was looking at getting a bow, and I'm in the process of working on my music, especially I'm sorry, that is very bright. Because this fell down a little bit. It's a little better. So I was looking at getting a bow a few weeks ago, and I just haven't. I need to look at finances right now and look at what I'm doing. I'm spending so much time doing music. I don't know if I'd have a lot of time doing archery. Josh and Andrew, on the other hand, Andrew has a bow. I think Josh does too, actually. That they use sometimes. I would love to get into archery again. There was a sweet Martin. Was it a Martin? I think it was a Martin bow that I was looking at. It was a not a compound, a recurve bow that I'd very much like to get in the future. But we'll just see. Again, timing is a huge thing. We're taking time off the YouTube show right now because of timing. So I'm just hoping that in the future, maybe I can do that. That'd be sweet. I love the idea of archery. It's just actually getting into it. You have to buy. There's a lot of equipment involved with archery, especially the bow itself. You want to get a good bow, you gotta be willing to fork out some cash. And I'm looking at spending like $450 on a Martin bow. That's not just that's not pocket change for me. Maybe this for some people, but in the future though, maybe I hope to get into bow when I have more time and hopefully more funding. So I said 2 bows. The other one's a longbow. Oh, longbow. Longbow's cool. I've never shot a longbow. I've shot a recurve and I've shot a compound with the gears on it. My dad though told us a story about he used to have a longbow, but it wasn't perfectly sized for him because, as I understand it, a longbow is supposed to be as tall as the user when sat on the ground. I don't know if that's true. Maybe you can confirm that or deny that. You would know more about that, Anglesbane, because you have one. But his was actually a little too tall for him, and he ended up selling it. But my father did used to have a longbow. Again, I never shot longbow. I've shot recurve and I've shot why can't I think? I've shot recurve and I've shot compound before. That's awesome. Well, I'd like to hear about what kinds of bows you have. Like you said, you have recurve and a longbow. Like maybe companies or where you got them. How long you've been doing archery? Oh, here we go. Longbows have have a pretty strong draw on it. Yeah, mine stands about an inch short of 9. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I knew it had. It was a couple years ago where I was like really interested in getting into bow, and I ended up I went to college and didn't really have time to really think about it. They did have an archery club that I almost joined, but they practiced. They got together on a time that I already had a class during on Tuesdays. I was doing the trombone choir, which was a hell of a lot of fun, anyways. But I looked at bows, and I vaguely remember from my research saying that too. So thank you for confirming that, for being about the same height as you. I would like to get into archery though. Archery's a hell of a lot of fun. And even if you're not good at it, as long as you're safe, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Same thing with guns, honestly speaking. If you know about gun safety, if you're just not that good at hitting targets, as long as you're shooting towards the target, you know what I mean? Like, if you're practicing proper gun safety and you're shooting towards the targets, shooting guns is a lot of fun. But again, I would like to get into bow, into archery. I shouldn't say bow. That sounds like something else. Like bow staff. I have done bow staff too with Josh before. That's a hell of a lot of fun too. Longbow is actual wood and handmade, so no name. The curve is a sentinel. Okay, yeah. So it's a handmade longbow. That's pretty cool. I've seen there's some awesome videos on YouTube about how to hand make a longbow for yourself and how to make a recurve. But recurve is a lot harder because it actually has those extra curves and stuff. That involves water and warping the wood in a specific way that I honestly just don't want to get into. Like guitars, you can make your own guitars, and that would be a hell of a lot of fun again. But it's time consuming. It can get expensive, or it's actually cheaper than buying ones that are built. But I would love to get into that. But again, it's a whole other ball game trying to get into that field or into that hobby. You know, they're not easy hobbies, but I think making a longbow should be a lot easier, um, as long as you have the right tools for it and stuff. So that's awesome though. You bought both. Why would I have a gripe with that? I bought every single guitar I have. I don't really make things. I do photography, so I guess I make photos, if you want to say it that way. I take photos. It's a form of physical art. It's a form of visual art. Um, so that is awesome though. Anklesbane. I'm gonna go ahead and close out here. Before I go though, is there anything else you want me to talk about? Um, Otherwise, I'm gonna skedaddle. It's almost 7 o'clock. I know I'm cutting short again, but Josh isn't here, and I do have some other things I need to do tonight before the night is out. So, Anglesbane, is there anything else you want me to talk about real fast? I'll hang out here for another minute or so to see if you have something there. Again, I'll close out by saying there are 3 people watching now. At least somebody just joined. For all of you guys that are watching, we are taking the show down for just a little bit. We're gonna see what's happening. There's a lot of scheduling problems right now. I have 2 jobs. Josh is teaching. There's that. There's just a lot of things. We're gonna take a few weeks off the show and see what's gonna happen next. And we'll get back to you guys all with information about what's going to be happening with the show, whether or not we're paring it down, whether or not we get maybe somebody else onto the show. We'll just go from there, see what happens, and we'll let you know. So thank you guys for watching tonight, especially Anglesbane. I know it's been a large conversation between you and I, but thank you for everyone that joined us tonight. And we'll see you guys next time on This Is Live Stream. Thank you.